Hello, everyone. Yeah, sorry about the long wait. This is the session about creating your first snap. Maybe a few of you could let me know on IRC if the session is working or not. Um, I'll I'll wait for the confirmation and then we get started. Perfect. Perfect. Again, sorry about that. The whole UI for Google Hangouts on Air changed, and I apparently ticked the wrong box. But now we're going to get started. All right. So the keynote from Gustavo earlier, he gave a really good overview over what's new in the world of snaps, and I saw a bunch of questions coming in. That's why I figured we're going to start with a quick tour of Snapd first, and then I'll show you how to create your first snap. Unfortunately, I'm alone today. The plan was that Didier Roche would be with me today, but he has one of the best excuses for not being here. He lost his voice over the weekend due to being ill. Which is unfortunate because he and I we worked together on the content for this, and it would have been a bit more fun. Right. So let me order my notes. Okay. So let me pull up the terminal and then share it with you. Okay, I hope you can see this. Maybe somebody on my IC can confirm that the font size is big enough. Right. So first of all, what are snaps? Snaps are basically a way to ship software in a confined way, which means that it's secure. Like none of the software can break out of its confinement. And Snapd is a really nice part of technology because it allows you to access the store, download stuff. It's going to keep your packages up to date and takes care of confinement. And it's available in many distributions already. Let's get started. So on Ubuntu, on a recent version of Ubuntu, you should be all covered. Snapd is installed, but because I wanted to show you what it's like starting from scratch, we're just going to install Snapd now. Yeah, so if you are on a different distribution than Ubuntu, just head to snapcraft.io and you can find out instructions there for getting set up. So let's say we want to install a snap, maybe something like Hello World. We'll just see what's available. So what SnapFind does is it talks to the store and then figures out are available. You can see the version numbers and everything else. That's pretty straightforward. So now we're just going to install one of them. Right. So I just said, please install the hello package. What it's doing now is it pulls Ubuntu core. That means it, along with the actual hello package, this is the first time we're setting up snaps. So what we need is the core OS, which also comes as a snap. That means it's up to date and it gets updated automatically. And it's basically what all the snaps rely on. It's the base system, and this is what is used in this world of the snap, and that's what we're downloading right now. Let me see if there are some questions already. Okay, no questions yet. Almost there. So what's really nice is that downloading snaps and installing them is very quick and straightforward, apart from the download time, depending on where you live. But they are SquashFS packages, so they are basically just mounted. This means this is a continuation of what we did on the phone. The actual app and its libraries, everything that's required is read only, so you can't change around things. So it's always the pristine app code you're working with. Okay, so hello is installed now. You can run it, and it's the simple hello world. If we want to see a list of snaps which we already installed, it's also very simple. So it will always give you the list of stuff you actually have on your system. Okay, let's say we want to update the snaps. This is done with a refresh command. And as we can see, there are currently no updates available for hello, but it's sudo snap refresh, which does it for you. As I said earlier, snaps are automated on a regular basis, but just in case you're working on something or you know there's an update and you're a bit impatient, use the refresh command. Yeah, what I probably should have mentioned earlier, I'm very happy to take questions. If you're watching this on summitubuntu.com, there's the chat widget next to the video feed. Just enter your favorite nickname, hit the connect button, and then you can ask all the questions which come up. Just make sure you prefix them with question in capital letters, and I can more easily, or Didier can more easily pick them up. Okay. So let's install another snap. This time it's a different Hello World example, but it's a nice one, and I'll show you why. That was pretty quick as well. Now we're going to launch it. Nothing very special here, but snaps can also ship multiple commands, and this is one of them. It ships the Hello World command, but it also ships this one. You can see it's hello world.env, which basically prints all the environment variables within the session of Hello World, and this is basically the confined worldview of a snap, which is being presented to us here. There's many more things a Snap can ship. It can also ship services. If you want an example of that, you could install the Shout package. It's an IRC client, basically running as a service. You just open it in a web browser and then go for it. And it's very straightforward as well. So as soon as you define a service in your Snap, it will be started on install time. So no matter which device somebody installs your service on, if it's a regular desktop system or any of the IoT devices, it will just be started there. So the whole thing is very hands-off. If we want to remove snaps, that's also very straightforward. You just do snap remove. And the nice thing is that there's no leftovers on the system. The services, if any, are stopped right at that moment as well, and that's it. So one very nice thing I haven't talked about yet is channels. So what the Snap developer experience offers in the store is channels, which means that if you're writing a piece of software, decide to put it into the store, you're going to, in most cases, you will want to ship it in the stable channel, which basically means that everybody can has access to it. It's listed in Snap Find and elsewhere. But let's say you want a new beta release, which you just want to be available for some testers. You would, for example, ship that in the beta channel. So depending on what your users want, they can say, okay, give me this Snap, but please install it from the beta channel because I want to be up to date. Or if you have really involved testers, you could use the Edge channel, and it's also very easy to hook up the Edge channel basically with your continuous integration. So let's say a new change lands on in CI, it will be automatically built and published to the Edge channel. So your testers are always up to date, they always get the latest, and you're always talking about the same thing which just landed. So let's try that out. As you can see, we installed the Hello Snap earlier, and this time we tell Snapd to refresh it from the beta channel. It gets downloaded, and if we run Hello now, it gives us a bit cheeky different default message. And let's say you're unhappy with the changes, you want to go back to the old one. That's very straightforward as well. Just say snap revert and you're back to the old one. So this was a very, very quick and a bit fast-paced overview of what Snap can do for you. That's the Snapd service and the Snap command. It's like I found the commands very easy to memorize, and I find it very useful. What I like a lot is, as I said, the channel support and being able to revert very easily. That's very new, and I love it. I think it solves a lot of the problems we had with traditional package management. And at this point, I'm just going to take a quick look at IRC and see what kind of questions came up on IRC. Coda Europe asked, how did we get Atril into a Snap package? Could you take us through it? I think that's maybe something we should do at another time when I had time to look at Atril for a little bit. But if you let me know on IRC what kind of package or what kind of software it is, we can definitely talk about it and see if Snapcraft has a plugin for building that, but it has plugins for almost everything. So, okay. The question came up: why make a snap? So that's a good one. Snaps for a user bring many advantages. So in the traditional package management world, you would basically need to wait for somebody to package the newest version of that piece of software. So the package maintainer would need to be notified or get an announcement email and then start packaging it. But if your favorite distribution just is in a release freeze or anything, that you need to wait a bit longer. So you have all kinds of process and waiting, which basically gets in the way, unless you tap into PPAs or other mechanisms. And with snaps, we basically give the authors of the software the chance to do this independently, to hook this up with their release machinery and just publish stuff. And that's I think a lot easier for both involved, because as an upstream, as a software developer, you just need to test one thing. So you basically do just a snap build, and that same snap will be available to not just Ubuntu users, but also Fedora users, Arch users, Gentoo users, all the people who have access to Snap these days. So I think it just makes updating snaps and keeping everyone on the same page on the newest release a lot more easier. And also don't forget the security implications. Snapd makes sure everything is confined. So basically, snaps just get the access to their own small part of the world and not much else. Okay, next one. Would it be possible to create snaps on 14.04 using Snapcraft? I don't know. That's a question I would defer to Sergio. I hope Sergio is on IRC. I'm not quite like Snapd is going to get backported to 14.04. That's already in process. I'm not quite sure about backporting Snapcraft as well. I'll leave that to Sergio. Christopher asked, are snaps automatically updated by default? If yes, well, can we configure the update frequency? The latter part, I don't know. That I need to leave to people on IRC, but yes, they're updated by default. And as far as I can tell, that was all the questions. Right, so let's move on to actually creating a snap. We're going to pick an easy, straightforward example here, just because we'll get through it in time, and it will be easier to understand all the relevant concepts behind it, and we will have more time for questions. Okay, so what we need here for this example is basically just Snapcraft and another package. I'll just install them really quick. Right, so tools are installed. We're just installing Build Essential as well, because that gives us libc and all the standard development stuff which we need for this example. And we're going to we'll start off with hello. So right, so the way you usually start when creating a snap is just by running snapcraft init. What it does, it creates a YAML file for you. I'll show that to you in just a sec. And we just need to edit it. What's really nice about YAML files and Snapcraft in particular is that it's all declarative. So it's not about writing crazy amounts of code or, you know, stuff which is likely to break, but it's basically just key value pairs, more or less. So this is the boilerplate snapcraft.yaml, which we all usually start with. Let's just go through the first part of it one by one. So name is pretty straightforward. That's the name of the snap. Version is also just the version string. Yeah, note the quotes around it. It's a version string because it can also contain stuff like dev blah 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 alpha something or whatever. The summary is very short, just one sentence or half a sentence. That's what's also displayed when people type snap find. So that's where you really want to express well what the snap is actually doing. And in the description part, you can give yourself much more space to explain what it is all about. Next one is grade. Grade is, you can basically tell people, or you indicate basically the quality or the confidence you currently have in your piece of software. So if you just started fresh with a new project and you don't want it to be published to all channels, use Devil. Otherwise, you can go for stable and access to the other release channels. Confinement, we're going to talk about a lot more later on. It's usually a good idea to start with dev mode. Dev mode is less strict because there's dev mode and strict. And dev mode allows you to fine-tune everything before everything is ready and before you apply the full confinement to your snap. Okay, so that much for the basics. I think as soon as we start filling out the values, it's going to become a lot more clear. So I'm going to do a bit of typing now. Right. So I think that part was pretty straightforward. This is basically just the the very basic definition of what does the snap do, and so on. Now let's start actually building the thing. So snaps can contain multiple parts. What this means is that, for example, you could have a game where you have the game engine and then the game data, and both comes from different sources or something. Or you could have an app which consists of a service running in the background, which is built for. Sorry, so somebody just said something, and I assume I got distracted. You could have a service which runs in the background, and then a command line utility, or you could have just stuff which is built from different places. We're going to make use of that. So we'll just start with one part for now because it's a lot easier. Give it a name. Just call it hello. You can use whatever name you like. Or let's call it new. Hello, dashes are fine too. And we're now going to define the source. Where's the source coming from? Okay. So it's basically just a tarball pulled down from the internet somewhere. And because I already know how to build it, I'm going to specify that it uses AutoTools. So what does this mean? Snapcraft comes with loads and loads of plugins for almost all kinds of build systems or other ways to basically turn code into snaps. One of them is AutoTools. AutoTools is the thing where you usually type configure, make, install. This is the way Hello is built. So we're going to use that. But I'll show you. The Snapcraft comes with a really nice help interface, and it has info about all those plugins, which plugins are available. It's just really, really, really pleasant to use. Okay, let's try to build this. All right, so I just opened a second tab on the terminal, and basically building is just typing Snapcraft. So what it does now is download the tarball, extract it, and then run the whole AutoTools machinery on it. Hello is very quick to build. So as you can see, it whizzed past and it constructs the hello snap at the end. The and this was built for AMD 64. Now let's try to install it. So earlier we used snap install and basically gave a name for a package in the store that's possible. But what we did here is we basically installed a local snap, one we have on disk. You might have noted that I used the --dev mode switch, which is there to be. I'm installing this snap, and it is in dev mode, so you have to sign up to do this, otherwise Snapview won't let you install it. Get dev mode steps installed if you don't want them. So this is something you need to do when you also when you get started with building a snap. So if we wanted to try hello now, it complains that there's no no hello available right now. It doesn't work. And I'll show you in the next step what we need to do here. Right. So far, we explained to Snapcraft what the snap is going to be about and how to build it. But we didn't actually tell it which commands we want to expose. And this is something we need to do. We need to do for every command, but it's very easy to do. So let me show that. So we basically just have this apps definition right here. Below that, we pick a name for the command we want to expose, and then basically just say what the path is. Yeah. So it's very straightforward. We're going to get a bit more complicated example later on, but in this case, it's just as easy as right. So let's I'll show you something speeds up development a lot. We're not going to run time, but we're going to run Snapcraft Prime. What's beautiful about it is that it makes use of the build before. So pulling down the tarball, extracting it, running configure, make, install, all this stuff is not necessary right now. So we're basically just rerunning the step where the snap gets put together, or where basically the contents get assembled for the snap. We don't actually generate the snap itself. That's not necessary, because we have this really nice thing in Snapd, which lets us try a build of a snap. I'll show you. So what this does is we're not installing a .snap file, which would basically mean mounting a piece of SquashFS into the system, but we're actually using what's in the Prime directory. That's basically what the contents of the .snap file would be. And it's much faster, much quicker, especially if you're building a huge game or something with gigabytes of data. This is much faster. Just quickly checked IRC. There's no new questions, which is great, but keep them coming. If you have questions, let's talk about them. So we defined the app command. Now just running hello should work, right? It does. So at this point, we basically created our first snap with a working command. And as you can see, it's basically just 17 lines of YAML. That's all there is to it. Beautiful. So let's make the snap a bit more interesting. Let's just add another part to it. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. So basically, we now have a snap which consists of two parts. One of them is called GNU Hello, the thing we already know about, and GNU Bash. So basically, what we're doing is adding a shell to have a hello command, which is exposed by the snap, and we have a bash command. The way is that we can type hello, just like we used to earlier, and we're going to have hello.bash, which is going to give us the shell. Let's see if this works. So again, it's downloading the bash tarball. The GNU hello part is already done. So this is basically just the second thing which now needs to be built, and it should be pretty quick as well. As you saw, I also used Snapcraft Prime again because that's much faster. And now we're going through the configured dance of it. Do you have any more questions? Does this all make sense so far? Okay, now we have a build failure. What happened here? Basically, we built two parts in this snap, and both try to ship the same directory to the same location, which doesn't work. So we have a number of different options to solve this. One would be that we would basically exclude certain files for a given snap. That's possible with the stage and snap parts of the YAML. We would also be able to rename it. That's possible with organize. But what we're going to do is we're going to reconfigure the bash build to basically save its info stuff in a different location. So let's do that now. Right. So this is also a nice way of seeing how to interact with the build. Plugins like AutoTools have options. So you can pass, for example, what I did here is a config flag. So you would do configure -- info something. So you are able to influence the build just by setting a different key value pair. I find that very, very elegant. So let's try the build again. In this case, I'm telling Snapcraft to basically clean the build of GNU Bash because it needs to be. That's very quick. And then we run Snapcraft Prime again. It has the tarball already downloaded, so that part is cached and just working fine. And now we're running the build again with the info directory option. Coda Europe asked can you use tar zip files instead of tarballs for source files? Yes. Yes, that's possible as well. Do whatever, like it's very, very flexible. You can also give it a Git or Bazaar URL or Mercurial. It's just great. It does basically everything you would expect it to do. Right, so we're at the point now, everything built, the build passed, so we can just run snap try again, and that should hopefully give us a working snap, right? So we built, we are basically trying our build now. Hello works as is expected, and hello.bash gives us a bash within the hello snap. So this is really beautiful. As you can see, we in next to no time we basically created a snap with two parts. We exposed both commands. The only thing I would still do now is to remove dev mode. So the way to do this is very straightforward. In this case, I'll talk a bit more about that in a second. It's basically just changing the confinement setting. So using strict here means apply the normal confinement to the snap. And in this case is a bit special because it's so basic. We didn't even request any special security permissions. For example, if you wanted to go on the network, or if you need access to, let's say, the camera or whatever else, you would need to specify that. In our case, because the hello command and bash are very simple here, in our case, it's just not necessary. So we change it to strict and then rebuild it again and see if that works. Let's do that. This time I'm running Snapcraft without the prime because I want the hello snap to be built, and we'll just install it now. Okay, so what happened here? We're getting some error message. This means because this sorry, because this isn't a snap which was signed by the store or anything, we need to say, okay, install this with, it is a local snap, so let's use the -- dangerous switch. So this all works as expected. Let's try something special now. Not special, but let's try something. So what's happening here? We're trying to look at the home directory, and that's not allowed. This is not because the snap is broken, but this time the security permissions are applied. So our bash is here in confined mode. You see, there was a question on IRC. Yes, Skuggan asked, is there a difference between -- dangerous and false dangerous? No, it's not. It was basically just a rename. So it's basically the same thing. Right. Okay. I think that's all I had in my notes for now. We could theoretically upload it to the store right now, but I'll probably leave that to another session, so we have a bit more time for questions. Did anything come out of the Atrial discussion earlier, or did any other questions come up? Maybe Didier can let me know. Let me also. Right, now you can look at me again. As I said earlier, Didier and I worked on this, and this was part of the Code Labs project. This is where we put together a bunch of materials so you can to use Snapd itself and also build snaps, and we're going to add more and more CodeLabs to them. All you need to do is to run snap install CodeLabs, and you're going to get them directly from the store. And we're going to update them as well whenever there's new CodeLabs being added. Okay. Leo just let me know that Atrial is an auto tools snap, and it shouldn't be too hard. It might need to have some other libraries built first. Okay. Here's a nice question from Christbaum, which means Christmas tree in German. Yeah, what if a build process expects you to run a shell script in advance to set up workspaces? That's a really good question. And one thing I noted in open source over the years is that everybody basically, in most cases, use standard tools to build software, but everybody uses them a bit differently. And Snapcraft copes really well with this because we know the reality is you don't have just 3 or 4 different ways of building stuff. There's usually more involved. So what you can do is basically write your own Snapcraft plugin. That sounds really tedious. It isn't. What you would basically do is, because Snapcraft is written in Python, you can write your own plugin very, very easily. You would basically just inherit from the Auto Tools plugin, and then just add the extra step on top of it. So with comments, I think a 10-line Python script should basically get you there. So it's really extensible without having to add like 1,000,002 options for everything. So you just do what the plugin would normally do, and then just add the one line you need. Okay. So somebody asked an interesting question, and I promised something earlier. Let me open the terminal again. Here we go. So the question was, what other kind of conflict flags are there? How does it all work? Snapcraft comes with a help interface, and it's very easy to drive it. Basically, you just use Snapcraft help. If you do Snapcraft help plugins, it will tell you everything about the plugin mechanism in general. If you do Snapcraft help auto tools, it will explain to you what exactly the auto tools plugin is for. So it says, this is the general instruction set, and here are additional config values you can set. You could do the same for, sorry, it's not JS. Node.js. So if you have a Node.js project, you would basically just drive it the same way, but have different values to configure the whole build. If you do Snapcraft list plugins, it will tell you all the plugins which are currently available. That's it. So somebody said, that was the last question. Just checking the time because I need to run for the next session. So last question, you have 1 or 2 more seconds. When can we expect 2.23? That's Snapcraft. I think today Sergio just released Snapcraft 2.22. 2.23 should be probably not even started yet. I'll leave the rest of the questions on IRC. Thank you very much. If you have more questions, keep them coming, and we'll just chat about them later on. Take care, everyone.